Hey guys, Janos here, and I'm here to give my recap of Wrestlemania 29. I actually watched this over at a coworker's house with some of the people that I talk about wrestling with, and yeah, we were up till because we watched it on his DVR because it recorded because I had to wait for them to get over, so I ended up we ended up till like 4:30. And I had to wake up for work at 6, so I'm like dead right now. So if I seem somewhat unprofessional or just lose my train of thought, I chalk it up to that. Yeah. Anyways, the first match that I watched surprisingly wasn't even on the bill, or it wasn't really on the bill. It was the pre-show match with Miz versus Wade Barrett for the Intercontinental title. And my first thought, why do I have to watch? Number one, why is the Intercontinental title like? It's not even on the show really. It's on the pre-show, and I was only able to watch it because, I have the WWE app because it's free, and I was waiting for my girlfriend to show up on the train, so I was pretty much just watching. I was like, oh, I wonder what's on the WWE app. Click. Oh, Miz is fighting Wade Barrett right now. And so then I watched it, and, well, it wasn't a terrible match, but it was also really short, which, I did not like the match, just because it was short, it was on the pre-show, and the title changed hands on a pre-show. So, it was like, hey, you have a new Intercontinental Champion. And barely any of you got to see it because it was the opening act on the show you probably didn't even get to see. Which pisses me off because it deflates the title, or like the importance of the title. It's like the title doesn't even really mean anything anymore. Like when Bret Hart had the title, it meant something. Now what does the Intercontinental title even mean? And actually anything apart from the WWE title, really. I mean, women's title and the U.S. title weren't even on the show. Partly chalking that up to the fact that Cesaro isn't quite over yet, but still, like, I'm sorry, that's another thing. I keep saying like, and I'm trying to put a kibosh on that, but really only 2 titles were defended, and that was the world title and the WWE title. And because the Intercontinental title, I guess we count that as a half because it was only viewable for the app, or I don't know who else was able to see it, but it was on the pre-show, so I don't know. So that out of the way, I don't want to rant about that for too long because once again, it isn't even really part of WrestleMania. So next was the Shield versus Randy Orton, Sheamus, and Big Show match, and they've been building it up this whole time as can Orton, Sheamus, and Big Show hold it together in order to unite against this common enemy with the Shield, who are still undefeated as of now. Because, Big Show's a heel and Randy Orton and Sheamus are faces, so it's like, can they coexist for one night? And, yeah, I guess they can. Maybe. Like, the match, it was alright. It wasn't a WrestleMania match. Actually, most of these matches weren't really WrestleMania matches in my mind. You have to really be a wrestling fan to understand what I'm saying when I say that, but it just felt like a match. Like, you'd see it on Raw, you'd see it on SmackDown. It was just basic, really. And the finish was Randy Orton actually hit a pretty nice RKO. Seth Rollins, I think it was, the high-flying guy, not the one who's always talking, took off the turnbuckle, and he hit him with an RKO in the air, and that was actually pretty cool. So I'm like, okay, this is picking up. And then Roman Reigns speared him and got the 3 count. I was like, oh. Alright. But the thing is, when Roman Reigns did that... Oh, sorry, let me backtrack a little bit. Throughout this entire match, Sheamus and Orton have kind of been tagging each other while Big Show like has his hand out, obviously wanting to get in, but they've been tagging each other. And so the only way he's been able to get in the match is through like blind tags. Like Randy Orton like bounces off the ropes and he just kind of like slaps him on the back, sort of forces himself into the match. And they've been tagging out with him like that, so I guess he's been kind of getting pissed off at them. So when Roman Reigns hits the spear and pins Randy, Big Show's just kind of on the apron, just chilling, just looking at him. So I guess they kind of coexisted, but not really. I don't know. I don't really know, really. And I'm not even sure if that was supposed to, like, that was part of the story that he was just watching. Because, well, I noticed that, and I think that's what they're going for, but the announcers didn't call attention to it, so the audience might have missed it, and the people watching at home, unless they were watching scrutinizingly like me, they could have missed it. But yeah, they got into a verbal altercation after the match. Big Show knockout punched both of them, and then next match. Next match, Ryback versus Mark Henry. I was not looking forward to this match at all. Well, I don't know. Just the only thing that really got me is that Ryback was going to have to carry this match because Mark Henry is a nice powerhouse, but I haven't really seen him work that great of a match before. Unless I'm probably forgetting something, but you know, keep in mind I only started rewatching wrestling recently, so all my memories of Mark Henry are from way back when. So maybe I'm not giving him a fair shot. But I don't remember him ever winning me over to the point where I'd want to look up, you know, go through backlogs of his matches and watch him specifically. So, and so I figured, you know, this was going to be two big guys clacking up against each other, just repeatedly, you know, just nothing really too spectacular going on. And actually, funnily enough, for the first half of the match, that's what they did. Literally, they were just, well, they were, you know, running at each other repeatedly back and forth, trying to knock each other over, and you know, eventually some moves got pulled off, and yeah, pretty basic match. But then, kind of short though, and then the finish was kind of weird because Ryback, to his credit, he picked up Mark Henry over his shoulders and was, you know, setting up for the shell shock, but then Mark Henry kind of grabbed onto the ropes and like held himself there and maybe like shook him like off balance a little bit, and then essentially just squashed him. And then after he squashed him, he rolled him over, 1, 2, 3. Mark Henry wins. Kind of a weak finish, but it was immediately followed by this, and I actually consider this a WrestleMania moment. Sorry, I don't want to do air quotes. I actually do consider this a WrestleMania moment because of what it did. Ryback after the match, like, because I've had my doubts about Mark Henry being able to pick up, or Ryback being able to pick up Mark Henry, because I remember I've seen videos where he's struggled to pick up Tensai and Paul Heyman, which are still big guys. So, you know, it's not saying he's weak or anything, but if you're not able to pick up those guys and then you're going up against Mark Henry, you know, I was expecting maybe he'd do like a sort of half-hearted shell shock, maybe like just kind of like pick him up and then just immediately fall backwards, but no! Mark Henry was about to take him out. Ryback started fighting back, and then picked him up onto his shoulders, stood there for a couple seconds, did his little, you know, march like a couple feet in front of him, and then pulled off the shell shock as if it was just any other guy. Obviously, he was, you know, straining, but it's Mark Henry. So he pulled that off amazingly, and it's just him pulling off his finisher on a big guy, but I consider it a WrestleMania moment because what it did was that it actually made me. I'm behind Ryback now. I would like to see more of him because I've been enjoying his stuff so far. You know, everybody else was like, he's just a Goldberg clone. Just forget about him. He'll be gone in a couple months. And I'm like, I don't know. The crowd, he's getting Feed Me More chants without even, you know, starting it himself. It's just happening organically, which means he's getting, you know, pretty much over at this point. And, you know, I'm like, there has to be something to him. And I'm watching his matches, and they haven't been bad. He had a really great one with Dolph Ziggler a little while back, but, you know, Dolph Ziggler can be in a match with a bag of sand, and he can make it look good. But, yeah, he's been in some pretty good matches that I've seen. And this put him over as very strong. Like, just being able to pull off that move pretty much flawlessly. And yeah, it was after the match, and Mark Henry won pretty much clean. So, you know, Mark Henry won, but Ryback got, you know, the big, like, push, I guess. Like, it put him over as very, very strong, which I was questioning because, like, yeah, he's bulky, but, you know, struggling to pick up Heyman, struggling to pick up Tensai. I'm like, but I guess he's been working out or, you know, working on his leverage. I don't know. But, yeah, like, I consider that was one of the more memorable parts of the night, to be completely honest. I don't know how sad that is. It was just him doing his finisher on a big guy, but anyways, not going to dwell on that too long. Next match, Team Hell No versus Dolph Ziggler and Big E Langston. It was basic tag match, really. There was nothing spectacular to it. It was an okay match. Just the main purpose of this match was to show off Big E Langston, or it was Big E Langston's first match, so it should have been the opportunity to show him off. So I left disappointed because number one, we didn't get to see much of him, and number two, the little that we did see of him was he didn't botch that I remember, so it was probably nothing big if he did. So yeah, Team Hell No won, kept their titles, and I actually thought that because since this is WrestleMania and, you know, crazy shit always happens, supposedly, not really so much anymore, I was thinking that tonight was going to be the night because, like, they were saying Team Hell No can work as a unit now because, you know, they're united against Dolph Ziggler, or I forget exactly what the story on that was. So I was like, oh, something's going to happen at Mania. Either they're going to go back to bickering, or this is going to be the end of Team Hell No. They're going to lose their titles, and then they're going to break up and go into singles competitions. No. Basic match happened. Next match. Chris Jericho versus Fandango. It was Fandango's first match, and I always thought I kind of felt bad for the guy because, I mean, he kind of has the bar set pretty high with all the build-up that there's been up to this point, and they must have spent a good amount of money on his entrance. He had like a dance troupe of like hot chicks, like, you know, salsa dancing, or sorry, I don't know exactly what kind of dancing that is. So forgive me if I'm, you know, saying it's something that it's not. And the huge silhouette of Fandango posing like framed in purple sparklers, fireworks and stuff. They put a lot of effort into his entrance, so I'm like, okay, this guy has to be able to at least wrestle. And he did. He did a pretty good job. Nice selling. I actually notice people who sell really good. I've noticed that's one of the things that I actually notice a lot when I'm watching wrestling. So I would like to see more Fandango, but overall, it was a good match, but is it going to stick with me? No. The finish is. The finish! Oh. They fucked up the finish. Pretty noticeably, because what he did was, Fandango was on the ground, and, you know, like when somebody goes for like a splash or something off the top rope, when they don't move, they just put their knees up so that they land, you know, on their knees. Well, Fandango was on the ground. He put up then Jericho went for the lion salt. He put up his knees, and either something went wrong there because he completely no-selled it, and then not at all. First of all, he missed it. Second of all, it was just, I don't know, it was just messy all around. And then he went for the walls of Jericho, and, you know, struggling for a little bit. And then probably one of the sloppiest, like, roll-up cradles I've ever seen. I'm pretty sure Jericho had actually, like, bend down to, like, get into position for it, and it looked really fake, and I was just like, that could have gone better. So, but to his credit, Fandango looked okay. You know, I'd like to see more of him, obviously. And World Heavyweight Championship, Del Rio versus Swagger, the next match. And I really thought that this was where they were going to put over Swagger, because they've been kind of building him up to where, you know, they brought him back, and they've been building him up, building him up, building him up. And I really thought that he was going to start holding, that he was going to hold the title for a while. We'd have a heel with a title, you know. But, you know, Del Rio won, and I'm sorry that I have problems like actually describing the matches. But once again, I watched these last night, and I'm running on like an hour of sleep right now. So forgive me if this is an absolutely terrible video. I'll do it again and do like a proper review. But like I must say something about the match that all I really remember was the fact that Zeb Coulter, this fucking guy, he actually was wearing his WrestleMania best. He was wearing a shirt and he was wearing a bow tie, but he still had the jacket. He still had the redneck, tan or the pale green vest on, and I just thought that was hilarious. And one of the most memorable things about this match was Zeb Coulter's reaction after Swagger lost. I swear to God, there has to be a picture of it online somewhere, and I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna put it in the description of this video. So, and hopefully the link won't die, because I really don't feel like editing this. Anyways, moving right along. Undertaker versus Punk. The best match of the night by far, because, Undertaker always brings it at WrestleMania. But I was a little disappointed because the plancha that he does over the top ropes like almost every year, I was denied it this year because he was about to do it and then Paul Heyman blocked him, heel. Heyman was awesome in this match. Like, just watching him on the outside reacting to everything, he was priceless. My eyes were on him most of the time, actually. Great showman, that guy. I'm a Paul Heyman guy, without question. Jim Cornette too. But they put on a good match. It's definitely better than the one CM Punk and Rock have been having, definitely by long shot. And pretty good. Standard pretty much, though, because, kicking out of each other's finishers constantly, and then eventually Undertaker hit the Hell's Gate submission, which I haven't seen in a while. And, he hit the tombstone the correct amount of time, the necessary amount of times. He met the tombstone quota, and then Punk finally stayed down, and now he's 21-0, which still I think he should have stopped after 20-0. Not that I don't like Undertaker, just that would have been a great send-off point. 20-0. It's nice and rounded, and it ended okay. So I don't know. It just kind of I've been watching Undertaker since I was 5 years old. I don't want his career to just kind of sputter and die. I wanted it to end on a bang, and I felt that the 20-0 was the best bang that they could have really gotten, considering the dwindling his health and everything, and he's getting on in years. He's pretty banged up, really, and yeah, really not all that much more to say about it. I don't know what they're gonna do with this from this point on, because he won the match clean, or not really clean. Well, I don't know. But yeah, he won the match. I don't know where the story's gonna go from here. I don't even know if this is gonna be because Undertaker doesn't really perform all that much, so I doubt this is gonna be. I don't know if this is gonna be a feud. They just trot out Taker for Mania, just put asses in the seats. And Triple H versus Brock Lesnar in a no-holds-barred match. And it was for Triple H's career, because if he loses, he won't be wrestling any more than he is now. Yeah. Anyways, this is another one of the moments of the night. And that was that this was a no-holds-barred match, and a lot like the Extreme Rules match with Brock Lesnar and John Cena. Brock Lesnar pretty much was in control for the first half of this match, and this was the WrestleMania moment right here. I don't know, maybe I'm just using WrestleMania moments a little more flippantly, but that's just because you gotta kind of try to find them these days, really. But he because he powerbombed Triple H through the table, and well, number one, the table broke, which is actually kind of rare because of all the times they've been trying to do the table recently, and it either breaks too soon or doesn't break at all. Like, it didn't break when CM Punk jumped off the turnbuckle and tried to land on Taker on the table. Didn't even budge. That was I was like, oh, that was supposed to be a big spot. Whoops. Reinforced Spanish announce table. But he powerbombed the shit out of him through that table. Because, like, you know, normally when they're about to slam somebody through the table, they remove the monitors, throw the monitors on the ground, take off the top part, and throw it aside, so there's the bare table. Nah! Picked up Triple H, fucked it. Boom! And the table essentially turned to dust underneath it. Then it panned back to Brock Lesnar, and his face just... He's just going insane, and I was just like, okay, I am fucking in. They've got me. And then the match kind of continued at regular pace, and Brock Lesnar was just kind of pummeling the shit out of him. Triple H then, hit him with the sledgehammer, got back in control, pedigreed the shit out of him on the steel steps, 1, 2, 3. Triple H gets to keep not wrestling, but under contract. Next match. John Cena versus The Rock 2, Electric Boogaloo. And I called this one from a mile away. I knew Cena was going to take the title because really, how much longer is Rock going to be in WWE? I don't see him as being a complete active member of the roster once again. Like, I'm pretty sure he's just here until Hollywood starts returning his calls again. And whereas John Cena's more, he is WWE. This WWE is what he is. Yeah, he'll do a movie here and there, but he's a WWE superstar. So obviously they're going to give him the title. Also, really, with the story that they built about him on his quest for redemption ever since him losing at the last WrestleMania, they couldn't have really gone any other way with this. Because, like, if he had lost, that means, like, he lost his one shot at redemption, which, like, I don't know, but from my perspective, that would mean he would kind of have to do a heel turn, wouldn't he? Since he has, like, nothing left. And you know they're not going to do that to their main cash cow. They're not going to do a fucking heel turn on Cena. Who cares about how much, attention that would get? Because, in the Monday Night Wars, when Hulk Hogan turned heel, everybody started watching WCW, and then that was when everything got started, like, where they were like, oh, shit, we need to step up our game, But why do that with Cena? I mean, the kids love him, so why fucking, why ruin a good thing that we got going? Why try to do something edgy? Whatever. So, but yeah, Cena and The Rock had a pretty good match. I'm not the biggest fan of Cena matches, but this one was pretty good. And not really all that much more to say. I'm sorry. It was a basic match, and, nothing really spectacular. I was a little surprised that Cena didn't bust out the move that I've coined the term, Cena Can't Rana. I know that's not going to stick, but, like, it's like, whenever Cena tries to raise the stakes of a match, he tries to do a Hurricane Rana. And Cena, you're a powerhouse. You can't do a Hurricane Rana. It's like Epico or Primo trying to do a triple power bomb. It doesn't work with you as you are. So he'd like jump up, have his legs around their head, and then like sort of like fall backwards and like just barely miss landing on his neck, and like the guy would have to do all the selling for it. And it would just look sloppy, but like you'd be like, oh, John Cena did a Hurricane Rana. I did not see that coming. Guess he must be listening to the whole 5 moves of doom joke. Maybe he might be getting some new moves in his arsenal. Let's just hope the next ones are good, or that he can do. To his credit, though, he tries. At least he's trying new things. So I'm kind of surprised he didn't pull that, but So yeah, Cena won. Surprise, surprise. So yeah, now Cena Nation's back, and now he's back in the title picture. Which I was kind of liking not seeing him in the title picture. Focusing on somebody new. Focusing on, CM Punk, and like they had a whole bunch of cool stuff going on with him. Can cut a great promo, and put him with Paul Heyman fucking dynamite every time they're on camera. But now Cena's back in power, so we'll see where this goes from here. I'm sort of starting to hate Cena. I wouldn't say less, but No, I still don't like Cena. I'm sorry. I mean, to all due respect to the guy, he's great. All the stuff that he does with the Grant-A-Wish Foundation is, you know, he makes these kids like lie. He makes their day. And it's like it's adorable to watch. Like he's a great guy probably in real life, but just not a big fan. But so yeah, WrestleMania overall, kind of disappointed really. I mean, Undertaker and Punk had a good match, but really, the one thing that stuck with me was the Ryback thing, and that's sad because it's not even really that big of a spot. But it got me interested in Ryback. It got me looking at him. It's like, oh, this guy is a pretty fucking strong dude. I wonder what he could do as like, you know, an intimidating figure. Like if they give him a heel turn, that'd be an interesting thing to watch. And you know, maybe put him up against Big E Langston. Maybe Big E Langston might pull off a couple of moves this time. But yeah, WrestleMania overall, if I had spent $60 on it, I probably would have been pissed. But overall, 5 out of 10. I don't fucking know. It's I guess I was just kind of left wanting more, and I'm fading at this point. So yeah, that's my little recap, and I'm off to bed. Jono signing out.